Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely. The quality of your life is not determined by what you face, but by the state of mind you bring to it. Anyone can be positive on the good days, when the sun is shining, when people clap for you, when life goes your way. But true strength, true mastery, it's staying positive where everything seems like it's falling apart. That's where transformation begins, because the mind is a muscle. And like every muscle, if you don't train it, it gets weak. Fear grows. Doubt grows. Negativity grows, not because you're broken, but because you haven't exercised the muscle yet. And the beautiful truth is, you can train your mind to work for you instead of against you. So how do you do that? You control your focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. If you look for what's wrong, you'll find it. If you look for what's missing, you'll feel empty. But if you train your mind to look for what's good, what's possible, what's within your control, you tap into your power. You stop surviving and start living. You move from reaction to creation. Challenges are not here to defeat you. They're here to shape you. Every tough moment is a rep in the gym of life. Stress, a rep. Rejection, a rep. Failure, oh, that's the best rep because it builds the strongest muscle, resilience. But positivity isn't something you think. It's something you do. You change your state. Stand tall. Breathe with intensity. Move your body. Speak with certainty. The way you use your body, your language, and your meaning determines how you feel instantly. Winners don't wait to feel good to take action. They take action to feel good. And above all, practice gratitude. You cannot be angry and grateful at the same time. You cannot be fearful and grateful at the same time. Gratitude is the antidote. Make it a habit. 3 things every morning. Simple, powerful, life-changing. Because greatness is not built in comfort. It's built in adversity. Positivity is not luck, it's a decision. Joy is not found, it's created. And if you train your mind daily, like your life depends on it, one day you will. Look back and realize the situations that once defeated you now empower you. The storms that scared you now strengthen you. And you'll say, I didn't just survive, I transformed. So stand tall. Breathe deep. Decide today that no matter what comes your way, you will lead your mind. You will direct your focus. And you will stay positive in any situation. Because positivity is not a moment, it's a mindset. It's a lifestyle. It's your new standard. Your mind is a muscle, and just like any muscle, if you don't train it, it won't grow. Think about it. You can't go to the gym once, lift a dumbbell 3 times, and expect a 6-pack. You can't run a mile today and wake up tomorrow ready for a marathon. Growth requires repetition. Progress requires consistency. Training requires commitment. Your mind works the exact same way. And most people don't realize this. They want a positive mindset, but they don't train for it. They wait for life to be easy. They wait for circumstances to feel right. They wait for motivation, for certainty, for something external to give them permission. But if you wait for perfect conditions, you'll be waiting your entire life. Positivity is not a gift. It's a skill you build day after day, rep after rep. And the moment you stop treating positivity like a feeling and start treating it like training, everything changes. Imagine your mind as a gym. Every time you catch yourself slipping into doubt, but choose belief instead, that's a rep. Every time life hits you hard, but you stand back up anyway, that's a rep. Every time you want to complain, but choose gratitude, that's a rep. You don't become mentally strong by avoiding struggle. You become mentally strong by working through it. The discomfort is the growth. We've been conditioned to think happiness just happens like some random miracle, but happiness isn't accidental, it's intentional. It's cultivated. You must make it a priority. How? By training what you allow to live in your mind. If you feed your mind with fear, doubt, negativity, comparison, you weaken your emotional state. You drain your energy. You shrink your potential. But if you feed it with optimism, with empowering thoughts, with solutions instead of problems, you create momentum. You build inner strength. You elevate your life from within. Training your mind starts with awareness. You cannot change what you don't notice. Most people live unconsciously, reacting, overthinking, worrying, replaying negative scenarios that haven't even happened yet. Their mind is running on autopilot, rehearsing worst-case outcomes like a movie that never stops playing. But the moment you wake up to your thoughts, really wake up, you become the director, not the audience. You take back power. You stop letting life happen to you, and you start shaping life through you. You don't need a perfect life to be positive. You need discipline. You need daily conditioning. You need to treat your mindset like the foundation of everything you want to build. Just like someone who trains physically doesn't skip workouts because they're tired, you don't skip mental training because you had a bad day. In fact, the bad days are when training matters most. Anyone can be positive when life is smooth. It's easy to smile when the bank account is high, when the relationship is great, when success is knocking on your door. But what about when you're challenged? What about when you fail? What about when life throws you into the deep end? That's where mindset training separates people, the ones who crumble and the ones who rise. Let me ask you something. If you truly trained your mind the way an athlete trains their body, what would your life look like? If every morning you practice gratitude instead of scrolling mindlessly, If you visualized your goals instead of worrying about what you can't control, if you repeated empowering beliefs instead of a fear-based story, if you focused on progress instead of perfection, who would you become? You become unstoppable, not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. And training doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as catching yourself when negativity arises and shifting your thought. It can be 2 minutes of deep breathing when stress kicks in. It can be speaking to yourself with encouragement instead of criticism. It can be choosing curiosity instead of judgment. It can be moving your body when your energy drops. Small practices, daily reps, create massive transformation over time. You don't need motivation to start. You need a decision to show up for your mind every day regardless of circumstances. A decision to choose growth over comfort. A decision to condition your thoughts like a warrior conditions their strength. If you commit to training your mind daily, even in small ways, you will notice something incredible. Negativity loses grip. Stress becomes less controlling. Challenges start feeling like opportunities. And what once overwhelmed you becomes manageable. You stop being controlled by thoughts and start using thoughts to create the life you want. Most people think they need a better environment to feel better. No, you need a better mindset to build a better environment. Focus equals feeling. Where your focus goes, your energy flows, and whatever you consistently focus on, you begin to feel, believe, and eventually live. If you focus on fear, you feel fear. If you focus on possibility, you feel empowered. The mind is incredible. It has the ability to turn a tiny thought into a powerful emotion, a moment into a meaning, a situation into a story. And the story you tell yourself determines the quality of your life. Not the events, not the circumstances, the meaning you attach through your focus. Two people can live the same moment, and one walks away broken, while the other walks away stronger. Why? Because one focused on the loss, the pain, the setback, and the other focused on the lesson, the growth, the opportunity. The situation didn't change. The focus did. And that is where your power lies. Your focus is your steering wheel. If you're constantly staring at what's wrong in your life, where do you think you're going to end up? You'll drive straight into frustration, disappointment, doubt. But if you consciously turn your attention toward what you can control, what you can learn, what you can build, momentum begins. Your brain starts finding answers instead of problems, solutions instead of excuses, hope instead of fear. You shift your emotional state. Now, notice something. Most people don't lose control of their life overnight. They lose control of their focus. They start focusing on what they don't have, what's not working, what might go wrong. And the brain, being a powerful evidence collector, says, okay, let me gather proof. Suddenly, everything feels heavy. Challenges look bigger. Progress seems slower. And the person starts believing life is against them when really their focus was just directed at the wrong target. Focus is like sunlight. When diffused, it warms. But when concentrated through a lens, it can ignite. That's the power of focus. If you direct your attention like a laser toward what strengthens you, you'll feel unstoppable. But if you focus on limitations, even the easiest days feel hard. If you want a positive life, you must train your mind to focus on what creates positive emotion. Gratitude instead of scarcity. Solutions instead of problems. What's working instead of what's missing. And I'm not talking about ignoring reality. I'm talking about choosing the part of reality that serves your growth. You can acknowledge the struggle while focusing on what it's teaching you. You can see the challenge and still focus on how it will develop your strength. You can feel pressure and still focus on your power to respond. Think of a moment you've been stressed. Maybe it was a deadline, a conversation, a financial worry. Notice what you were focusing on. Was it the worst outcome? The fear of failure, the pressure of time? Probably yes. And what feeling did that create? Tightness, anxiety, overthinking. Now imagine the same moment, but you shift your focus. You think, this challenge will make me sharper. I've handled worse. I've grown before. I can figure this out. Same situation, different focus. And instantly the emotional state changes. Because feeling is not accidental, it's created by focus. You've met people who have everything but are miserable. They focus on what's missing. You've met people who have less but radiate joy. They focus on what's present. The difference isn't life. The difference is attention. So how do you direct your focus? First, by being intentional the moment you wake up. Before the world pulls your attention everywhere, command your mind. Ask better questions. Questions shape focus. If you ask, why is life so hard? Your brain will answer. If you ask, what's one thing I can be grateful for right now? It will answer that too. Your mind is always listening. Guide it. Throughout the day, notice when stress rises. Instead of spiraling, pause and ask, what can I do right now? What can I learn? What's one thing going right? You're not pretending everything is perfect. You're directing focus toward possibility, toward progress. And when negativity tries to take over, and it will, catch it, interrupt it, stand up, breathe deep, move your body, shift your state. Because emotion follows motion. and then redirect your focus like an athlete resetting before a new play. You have that power. You always have. Over time, something extraordinary happens. You become the kind of person who finds reasons to rise instead of reasons to quit. You start seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. You become solution-oriented instead of problem-focused. And life doesn't suddenly become easy. You just become mentally stronger. Focus determines feeling, and feeling determines action, and action determines destiny. Change your focus, and you change your life. Challenges aren't roadblocks, they're reps. They're the very training that builds your mind, your character, your emotional muscle. Most people think challenges are a sign they're failing, that something is wrong, that life is unfair. But challenges are not a punishment. They're an invitation. They're life saying, are you ready to grow? Are you ready to become more? Because growth never shows up wrapped in comfort. Growth shows up wrapped in difficulty, uncertainty, discomfort. But in that discomfort lies strength, clarity, breakthrough. Think about the times in your life where you became better, truly better. Was it when everything was easy? When everyone agreed with you and success dropped into your lap? No. Growth came when you faced something you didn't think you could handle and you handled it. When you got knocked down and you got back up. When you were tired, drained, doubting yourself, but you took one more step. That's where character was born. That's where resilience was built. We love the idea of strength, but we avoid the process that builds it. Everyone wants to be mentally tough, but no one wants the moments that require toughness. Everyone wants peace, but not everyone wants to face what disturbs their peace. Everyone wants success, but very few are willing to meet the challenges that shape success. But hear this, challenges are not blocking your path, they're preparing you for the path. They're sculpting the version of you required for the life you say you want. Life gives you challenges not to hold you down, but to stretch you, to pull you beyond who you were yesterday. When resistance shows up, you can run from it, or you can rise with it. Running doesn't make life easier, it just makes you weaker. Facing challenges head on doesn't remove them, but it transforms you. You grow into someone capable of handling more. And when you can handle more, life gives you more. More opportunities, more clarity, more confidence, more life. Think about a weightlifter. If they only lift what feels light, they never get stronger. They lift what feels heavy. They push against resistance. Their muscles tear and rebuild. And the same way physical muscles grow under stress, your emotional and mental strength grows under challenge. Every difficult moment is a rep. Every setback is a rep. Every frustration, every no, every failure, reps. And when you stop seeing them as obstacles and start seeing them as training, the game changes. Instead of why me, you start thinking train me. Instead of this is too much, you start saying this is how I become more. Instead of I can't handle this, you shift into I am strengthening with every step. And it's not about pretending problems don't exist. It's about responding to them with a stronger mindset. A negative situation doesn't define you. Your response does. You may not control what happens, but you always control who you become through it. Life will test you, but tests aren't designed to stop you. They're designed to reveal you, to make you discover how powerful you actually are. Challenges create contrast. Without darkness, light means nothing. Without struggle, victory has no taste. Without resistance, you would never know your own capacity. The moments you thought were breaking you were actually building you. The times you questioned yourself were shaping certainty. The losses were preparing you for wins. The pain was strengthening your presence, your patience, your purpose. And here's the truth. The challenge isn't happening to you. It's happening for you, for your evolution, for your future self, for your story. One day you will look back at the battles you're fighting now and realize they were the very reason you became strong, enough to create the life you imagined. One day you will thank the pain you're resisting today because it carved wisdom into you. It expanded your heart. It sharpened your focus. It built resilience you didn't know you had. So when life pushes you, push back harder. When you stumble, stand taller. When it hurts, breathe deeper. Meet the challenge. Look it in the eyes and say, you will not break me. You will build me. Because every challenge is an opportunity disguised as difficulty. Every obstacle is a doorway in disguise. Every setback is setting you up to rise higher than before. Growth is uncomfortable. Progress is messy. Strength is earned in the fire, not outside of it. And the more challenges you face with intention, with courage, with a decision to grow instead of retreat, the more unstoppable you become. The people who rise in life aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. Challenges are not the end of the road. They are the beginning of your transformation. State is everything. The way you use your body, the meaning you attach to what happens, and the language you speak to yourself determines whether you rise or fold. People think emotions just show up out of nowhere, but emotion is a pattern. It's a recipe. You change the ingredients, you change the emotion. If you slump your shoulders, breathe shallow, speak softly, stare at the ground and say, I can't. What state do you create? Weakness, hesitation, doubt. But if you stand tall, breathe deeply, move with energy, speak with certainty, where do you go? Into power, into confidence, into possibility, your body is the switch. The moment you shift your physiology, you shift your state. Have you noticed how two people can deal with the same stress, the same setback, the same situation, and one collapses while the other becomes unstoppable? The difference isn't the problem, it's the state they enter. When you're in a powerful state, challenges turn into strategy. When you're in a defeated state, even small tasks feel heavy. So the goal is not to wait for a positive state to magically appear. The goal is to create it on command, on purpose. Any moment you choose, you have more control over your emotional world than you've been taught, which means positivity isn't luck. It's a state you condition. You don't need perfect circumstances to feel strong. You just need to move your body like you are strong. Emotions are tied to motion. If you want to feel alive, move like someone who is alive. If you want confidence, breathe like someone who trusts themselves. If you want motivation, speak like someone who is unstoppable. Your mind listens to your physiology more than your wishes. So train your body to signal power instead of weakness. Think of moments where you felt unstoppable. Maybe it was a win, a breakthrough, an achievement. How was your body then? Upright, chest open, face lit up, voice full. That posture wasn't a result of confidence. It was part of creating confidence. Now imagine adopting that state before the result instead of after. Imagine entering a meeting, a challenge, a conversation already in your power. You change the outcome because you change the state that enters the moment. Language is another piece. The words you use shape your experience. Say, this is killing me, and your body reacts with stress. Say, this is challenging me, and suddenly courage rises. Say, this is building me, and you access strength. One sentence can drain you or drive you. Many people live inside negative language without realizing they're programming their emotional patterns. I'm tired. It's too hard. I'm stressed. When you say it enough times, you wear it like identity. But shift the language. I'm energized. I'm learning. I'm growing stronger through this. And watch how your state changes. The world outside doesn't change, but you do. Meaning seals it all. Every event carries the meaning you assign to it. The same situation can be the beginning of your downfall or the beginning of your rise. The meaning determines reality. If you believe a setback means failure, you sink. If you believe it means training, you fight. If you believe it means life is unfair, you get stuck. But if you believe it means you're being shaped, tested, prepared, you show up differently. You don't crumble, you climb. You don't shrink, you expand. Meaning is the frame through which you interpret your entire life. Change the meaning, and you change your experience. You can't always control the situation, but you can always control the meaning. You can decide whether it empowers or weakens you, and that decision changes your emotional state instantly. So how do you train your state daily? Start with physiology. Move, jump, walk with purpose. Breathe deeper than stress can reach. Wake your nervous system up with energy instead of letting life pull you half asleep. Then language, use words that empower instead of drain. Replace have to with get to. Replace problem with challenge. Replace I can't with I will find a way. And finally, meaning, choose meanings that lift you. Instead of why is this happening to me? Try what is this teaching me? Instead of I'm stuck, try I'm being prepared. Small shifts create massive internal power. When you align your physiology, your language, and your meaning, you enter a state where positivity is natural. Not forced, not temporary. Natural. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become the author of your experience. You lead your mind instead of letting it lead you. You train your state like an athlete trains performance. Not sometimes, consistently, until positivity is not effort, but identity. Because once you learn to control your state, you don't just survive life, you master it. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotional tools we have, and yet it's one of the least practiced. People think gratitude is something you feel when life gives you something great, when you win, when you succeed, when blessings show up. That's surface level gratitude. Real gratitude, the kind that transforms your mind, is practiced intentionally, especially when life is not perfect, because gratitude isn't about ignoring the pain or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about choosing to see the beauty, the lesson, the gift within it. Gratitude is perspective, and perspective determines peace. You cannot be grateful and angry at the same time. You cannot be grateful and fearful at the same time. Gratitude and negativity cannot coexist. One pushes the other out. Gratitude is like light in a dark room. The moment you turn it on, the darkness loses power, not because the room changed, but because your awareness did. Gratitude illuminates what was always there but often overlooked. Most people wake up and instantly step into stress, checking messages, thinking about problems, rushing into the day with a mind focused on lack. But imagine waking up and training your mind to focus on what's present instead of what's missing, to recognize what you have rather than what you don't, to remember what's going right instead of what might go wrong. You shift your emotional state instantly. You start the day in abundance instead of scarcity. Gratitude is a habit, and like any habit, it must be trained. If you only practice it when life is good, you'll never experience its true power. You must practice it when you're tired, when you're stressed, when things fall apart. That's real gratitude. The kind that strengthens your spirit and rewires your mind. The kind that says, even in this moment, I can find something to appreciate. I can find something to learn. I can find something that keeps me grounded. Gratitude turns surviving into thriving. Think about someone who is complaining constantly. Their body is tense, their face tight, their energy low. But watch what happens when they start